who is healthy, a practitioner is supposed to aid and assist and make it easy for the mother, for that nurse, for that assistant, to then harass a mother who is delivering in a labor ward, whether it's in a private hospital or a public hospital, that is sadistic and very wrong. It's the highest abuse. It's a gross abuse of human rights. Let's safeguard life. Let's have dignity for the patients who walk through the doors seeking for treatment and seeking for support. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support this report.
Senator Cristo Asige.
Speaker, I would like to thank the Health Committee for the table that they have put before us to consider today. Speaker, it is always painful to read these kinds of reports, hear these kinds of accounts, and this one is no different. A devastatingly painful narrative is in this report of a young girl, Anita, who has needlessly lost her life in the care of a facility that is supposed to safeguard life. Mr. Speaker, it must have been very difficult for the committee to have to go over the harrowing story and the harrowing account that they have put down in this report, but I do thank them for their effort and the recommendations and findings therein. Mr. Speaker, death need not be this way. This young girl, Anita, just a little baby. We even had a few students who are in chambers today, Speaker, and I think of them and that age group, the chosen generation, here to live out their purpose, to live out their assignment, but their life, like Anita, being cut short is unforgivable under any circumstance, Speaker. And myself as a young person who deals a lot with young people and the youth and listening to their goals and dreams, I am just beside myself having to read this report, especially when it is under the circumstance of negligence, gross negligence by the Moi Teacher and Referral Hospital. Speaker, though it is a painful report to have to read through and to debate this evening, I am happy to at least hear colleagues, senators, empathize with the narrative that is in this report, to empathize with the pain and the grueling experience that Anita must have gone through before succumbing to her unfortunate death in this medical facility. This was flagged off, of course, by Senator Cherargei, who made the first submission, and must be honest in saying that I was surprised to hear him speak so passionately about human rights, Speaker, and about compassion and empathy and matters of safeguarding life, because the tone last week and the Hansard will bear me witness from him did not really, track with what was said here today. Mr. Speaker, I remember last week hearing members of Parliament applauding, almost celebrating the violent attack and detention of one of our own Kenyan nationals, Boniface Mwangi, and our neighboring national, Agatha Atahaire. Mr. Speaker, just as we have seen in this report, Anita's death was needless, just like Boniface's detention and violent beating was needless, and just like Agatha Atahaire's violent rape and detention was needless. If we're talking about compassion and empathy, we must talk about it across the board. You don't speak from one side of the mouth in 1 week and from the other side of the mouth the next week, Mr. Speaker. And perhaps maybe this morning's national prayer breakfast has convicted some members of Parliament. Maybe they now see the importance of being compassionate and taking life as something sensitive, whatever the circumstance. And I'm glad that if that's the case, there are some who have been convicted. And I hope that we continue as leaders to apologize for the misgivings and the shortcomings that we continue to perpetuate. Mr. Speaker, I'm glad for the findings in this report. I do wish that there would be more harsh consequences or recommendations having been put in this particular report, because there is a family and there's a community that Anita belonged to who are in pain right now. And even though we're debating this, and yes, it's our job to stand as legislators to represent and oversight matters of the sort, it doesn't take away from the results that we are staring at, which is that a young girl has gone because of gross negligence. And Mr. Speaker, we must apologize. Just like it was said by a good man of God this morning at the prayer breakfast, we must apologize if we are to seek any kind of freedom or forgiveness for transgressions. Let me be clear, Speaker. Leaders in this country, including doctors in this facility that handled Anita, have not only sinned against God, they have sinned against man. And even if today's prayer breakfast convicted some of us and their grievous transgressions, as I said, and they felt led to come into agreement with the different prayers prayed, remember, Speaker, we have not only sinned against against God, pardon me, we have also sinned against man. This is greater than an act of parliament. It's greater than this report. It's greater than the Constitution that we serve even. This is God's law, Speaker. And as lawmakers, we ought to be the ones to understand more than most the importance of following the letter of the law. Mr. Speaker, I want to also, of course, apart from giving my condolences.
Senator, I am now the one, Senator Crystal. It's Madam Speaker now.
Thank you.
Taking over.
I thought I just said Speaker. I did not think that I said Madam or Mr., but I will continue. Speaker, we have this report that we are debating, and I think we have all concluded that it is a good report and the committee has done a good job. I do think that there needs to be more stringent recommendations. A fine is not enough. I think disciplinary action should be to the highest degree for the result that we are seeing here today, which is loss of life. Speaker, it's not enough for 200,000 fine to be set upon a doctor or a 350,000 fine to be set upon a doctor. The entire facility should pay an account for this negligence, because Anita was so brave. I can only imagine she was so brave, being taken from medical room to medical room with no answers, from doctor to doctor with no answers, from test to test with no answers. She even left the facility and came back later that day, Speaker, still in pain and agony. She must have been so brave, trying to hold on to her life, but doctors did not try as hard as she was trying, because when it comes to the relationship between doctor and patient, it has to be a mutual collaborative relationship. The patient has to try just as hard as the doctor has to try to preserve life. But on this case, Speaker, and according to this report, the doctors did not do their part in preserving life. Anita was left alone for all those hours. Through all those tests, through all that waiting, she was left absolutely alone. Just like many young children and many young youth in this country have been left alone by the people who are supposed to serve and protect them. Young people are going through far too